Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into a question that honestly follows one of the most, well, unlikely characters in that whole brutal world of Panem.
You mean Peeta Mellark?
Exactly.
Yep.
Did Peeta actually kill anyone in the Hunger Games? He's got this image, right? The gentle baker boy, the cinnamon roll everyone talks about.
Right. But the arena, it's something else entirely. It forces violence.
So did his hands get dirty? And if they did, was it mercy? Was it cold-blooded or just survival?
It's the core tension for him, isn't it? How does someone like that get through that environment? So today we're using the source material you sent over, this really detailed analysis, focusing strictly on the book canon.
Right, the books.
Yeah, using that as our guide. Our mission basically is to break down those specific moments where Peeta might have been responsible for a death.
And figure out what this analysis concludes. How much blood is actually on his hands by the time the trilogy ends?
And it's so important, like you said, that we're sticking to the books. The source itself flags one major film difference we'll touch on, but this whole analysis, it's grounded in Suzanne Collins' text.
Good, because the details, or sometimes the lack of details, in the books are key.
They really are. Okay, so where do we start?
All right, let's jump in. Chronologically makes sense. Back to the 74th Games, the very first night.
Okay, the female tribute from District 8.
Yeah.
Peeta's fallen in with a career pack at this point.
Right.
And they hunt this girl down. Why? Because she started a fire.
Big mistake. And Katniss is nearby, hiding. She actually hears the girl screaming, pleading.
Horrible. And then after the attack, the careers just walk off. They figure she's done for.
And this is where the source analysis gets really interesting. The canon doesn't fire right away. The signal that a tribute is dead.
Yeah, and this is a crucial point the analysis makes about how the games actually function. Those cannons, not always instant. Think about the bloodbath at the start. They wait till that's over.
Yeah.
The game makers can manipulate the timing. And, critically, the hovercraft. They don't usually come down until the living tributes have cleared out of the immediate area.
So the source notes that the careers had cleared the area around the District 8 girl, so nothing should have stopped the hovercraft, unless
she wasn't actually dead yet.
Right.
So the careers, they start arguing. Is she dead? Should someone go back? Check. Make sure.
And Peeta jumps in, shouts something like, "We're wasting time. I'll go finish her and let's move on."
Okay, that stands out. It feels unlike him.
Yeah.
And the source offers some really interesting speculation on why he'd yell that, especially since Katniss was hiding in a tree just, 10 yards away?
Yeah, exactly.
So possibilities the analysis raises. Did he actually see Katniss? Or maybe just sense someone was there, possibly her, and wanted to get the careers moving away from that spot to protect her?
Or, could be simpler, more about his own survival. Maybe he didn't know Katniss was there at all. He just saw this argument escalating with these armed hothead kids, as the source puts it.
Kids who could turn on each other, or him, in a second.
Yeah, so maybe shouting that was just about de-escalating that danger.
Whichever it was, the analysis is clear. He's putting on a show for the careers. That phrase, "go finish her," the source calls it such an un-Peeta-like thing to say. He's performing, playing a role to survive in that pack.
And Katniss does see him around this time, briefly. Notices he's hurt face, swollen with bruises, a bloody bandage, limping.
Which the source suggests means he was involved in that initial bloodbath, probably fighting defensively alongside the careers.
Using his wrestling strength, maybe, but needing their weapons, too.
Probably. The analysis suggests he didn't want to kill, but he likely knew by then. Well, he might have to.
Okay, so what happens when he goes back to the girl? He's not gone.
No. Very short time. He comes back. Cato asks him, was she dead?
And Peeta says,
no, but she is now. And right then, just then, the cannon fires.
Just then. Wow, that timing, it feels, staged.
The analysis absolutely flags that, calls the timing very produced. It strongly suggests the game makers held that cannon shot, waited for Peeta's return for that dramatic line.
So what does the source think Peeta actually did in those few moments alone with her?
Well, it presents two main scenarios based on Peeta's character.
Okay, scenario one.
Scenario one. She was already dying, bleeding out, mortally wounded. Peeta just stays with her until she passes naturally. Maybe, the source speculates, he even offered some comfort, like he does later, with the District 6 woman in the Quarter Quell.
Okay. And scenario two.
Scenario two. She was severely injured, suffering horribly, and Peeta makes a choice. A quick, merciful end, partly for her, maybe partly for his own survival, needing to get back to the careers.
And if he did that, knowing Peeta?
Exactly. The source speculates he'd need time to process that.
Yeah.
Probably hidden, maybe throwing up and silently crying, telling himself it was necessary, maybe even convincing himself he did it for Katniss.
The source also touches on the bloodbath itself, right? Whether Peeta got a kill there.
Yeah, it does. And the analysis leans towards unlikely. Partly because, well, nothing was shown in the Capitol recap. Maybe they edited it out, to keep the star-crossed lover story clean.
Plausible.
And also Finnick's later comment about Peeta, except maybe Peeta, suggests Finnick didn't see him as having that killer instinct.
So, wrapping up the District 8 girl, the source leaves it uncertain.
Pretty much. Ambiguous, leaning away from a cold-blooded kill, more towards mercy or survival or some mix, and heavily influenced, maybe even orchestrated, by the game makers and their timing. Not a clear, intentional kill by Peeta.
Okay, let's move on. Still in the 74th games, but near the end now. Foxface, District 5.
Right, Foxface. Now, her situation, according to the source, much clearer. Her death is presented as, basically accidental.
How does it happen again? It's the final 4 left.
Yeah. Katniss and Peeta are out gathering food. They split up for a bit. And Peeta, unknowingly, picks some Nightlock berries, poisonous ones.
And Foxface, who's been surviving by sneaking around and stealing.
Exactly. She sneaks up, grabs some of those berries, and some cheese, importantly from their stash while they're gone.
Eats the berries, dies pretty quickly nearby, cannon fires. That's it.
Yeah, straightforward, tragically.
Now, I know there's this fan theory that maybe Foxface ate them on purpose, like choosing her own way out. Does the source address that?
It does. And it argues pretty strongly against that theory, based purely on the book evidence.
What's the reasoning?
Well, first, she took cheese too. She was hungry. She wanted food. Second, she was so close to winning. Final 4. Why quit then?
Good point.
Third, Nightlock wasn't taught in training. Only Katniss knew it from her father. Foxface likely wouldn't have recognized it. And fourth, the game makers planted them there, made them look like safe berries. It was a trap.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there's that moment Peeta thinks the canon means Cato's dead.
Right. But Collis corrects him, holded the berries, and says that line, "No, Peeta. She's your kill, not Cato's."
Oof, how does Peeta react?
He blames himself immediately. Says he was too loud, gathering things. Katniss calls Foxface very clever until you outfoxed her.
But Peeta pushes back on that.
Yeah, instantly. Not on purpose. Doesn't seem fair somehow. Then he realizes Katniss knew they were poison all along, and he apologizes for even picking them.
And the source highlights a little detail here, something easily missed, but very Peeta.
What's that?
Why didn't Peeta eat the berries himself? The analysis points out it wasn't because he suspected they were bad or because he was waiting for Katniss to check them.
No. Why then?
Simply because he was waiting to share them all with her.
Ah, wow. That says so much about him, doesn't it? Even then.
It really does.
So yeah, the analysis concludes Foxface's death was, well, a tragic combo. Her strategy, the game maker trap, plus just sheer desperation and probably, cognitive fogginess from near starvation.
So the source is clear. Definitely not Peeta's kill. Yeah. Accidental. A game maker trap, Kathy.
Right. Now, before we hit the Quarter Quell kills from the books, the source specifically calls out a movie edition.
Ah, yes. Need to address that. The Catching Fire movie. That's seen at the very beginning of the Quell. Peeta and the District 10 guy.
Yeah, where Peeta appears to drown the male tribute from District 10 in the water.
And the source says?
Unequivocal. Nothing of the sort occurred in the book.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
In the book, that tribute dies later. Causes unknown.
So the analysis we're drawing on, sticking to book canon, basically treats that movie scene as...
It's a fan fiction, essentially. Interesting for the movie, maybe, but totally irrelevant for figuring out Book Peeta's actions. Not part of this discussion.
Got it. Book canon only. Which leads us to Brutus, District 2, end of the Catching Fire book.
Yes, and Brutus, according to this source analysis, is Peeta's real and only victim in the Quarter Quell.
His only intentional arena kill across both games.
That's what the analysis argues. And here's something wild the source points out. Not only is it Peeta's only active knowing kill, it's actually the last death ever in any Hunger Game. Full stop.
Whoa. Seriously, the very last kill in 75 years of the games.
Is Peeta Mellark from District 12 taking out Brutus, a career from District 2? The source calls it historic stuff. Kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. And connecting that back. Remember Peeta's whole thing in the first book?
Yeah.
About not wanting the Capitol to turn him into a monster?
Yeah, that speech. Knowing he'd probably have to kill, but wanting to show them they didn't own him.
The source points out this sickeningly twisted irony here, because later the Capitol does twist him with the hijacking. He does end up killing Brutus in a fight, and yet he also does show the Capitol they don't own him, just in different ways, like warning District 13.
It's incredibly complex. So how do we know for sure Peeta killed Brutus? The book isn't super graphic about it.
No, the source suggests that might be deliberate. An intentional writing choice to focus on the fact that it happened, not the gory details. But we know because Peeta himself says it.
When?
In Mockingjay, during his first interview after being rescued, he states it plainly, killing Brutus myself.
Okay. And when did it happen in the arena?
Right at the end, after the wire plan goes chaotic, Peeta's looking for Katniss, and he stumbles upon Brutus killing Chef.
Chaff from District 11, Haymitch's friend, later revealed as a key rebel ally.
Right. The analysis figures Peeta was likely hiding, watching this happen, probably didn't know Chaff was an ally, but likely still cared about him through Haymitch.
So Brutus takes down Chaff, and then how does the source speculate Peeta managed it? Brutus is a big, trained career.
The thinking is Peeta seized the moment right after. Maybe Brutus was distracted, maybe even injured from fighting Chaff. Peeta uses surprise, his own strength, he is strong, his wrestling skills, plus pure adrenaline.
Takes out a major threat, and in doing so, directly heads Katniss's chances.
Definitely. The source also makes a quick note about the name Brutus, the historical connection.
Marcus Junius Brutus, Caesar's assassin.
Yeah. The irony being this Brutus was loyal to the capital, the oppressive power, not betraying it.
Interesting layer. So for Brutus, the source analysis is firm. This is the one. The intentional kill. Hugely significant for Peeta and for the end of the games themselves.
Okay. One potential victim left to discuss, according to the source. Moving into Mockingjay now.
Mitchell from District 13. This is during the invasion of the capital. And Peeta. Well, Peeta's not okay.
No, he's deep in the throes of the hijacking, the capital's torture and conditioning. The source calls it a mental health episode, a blackout rage.
Yeah.
Mitchell is just part of their squad, Squad 451.
Right. And the incident happens right after Boggs gets hit by that pod, the mortal wound, the squad's running, chaos everywhere.
And Peeta just snaps.
Completely.
Yeah.
In this hijacked rage, he yanks Katniss back, raises his gun like he's going to hit her, and Mitchell does something incredibly brave.
He tackles Peeta to save Katniss.
He does. But Peeta, fueled by what the source calls tracker-jacker insanity, that capital-induced madness he kicks out, violently, feet on Mitchell's torso, launches Mitchell down the block, right into another triggered pod, a barbed net, and Mitchell is killed instantly.
Devastating. And this immediately brings up the really hard question the source tackles.
Who's responsible?
Exactly. Can Peeta be held responsible for Mitchell's death?
The analysis argues quite strongly no, that Peeta is not truly responsible in that moment. Legally, maybe you could plead insanity. He wasn't in control.
He blacked out because of the capital's torture conditioning. That's the source's phrasing, acting like a
Gamemaker mutt, a weapon designed and unleashed by the capital.
What happens right after?
Peeta's restrained. He's described as being wilder in cuffs. They lock him in a closet. Boggs is dying, giving Katniss those last commands, including kill Peeta.
Chillin'.
Peeta passes out. Later, when he sees the footage of what happened, he has no recollection. He's utterly horrified.
And asks them to kill him, right? So Snow turned him into a mutt monster weapon.
Exactly. And Finnick is the only one who really tries to comfort him, saying it's not his fault.
So the source analysis essentially agrees with Finnick and with Peeta's own horrified assessment.
Yes. While Peeta's physical actions led to Mitchell's death, the responsibility lies with the capital, with the hijacking, with the traps they set. It's not counted as Peeta's kill.
Okay, so let's just bring it all back. The original question, did Peeta kill anyone? Based on this deep dive into the source's analysis of the book looking at those four names, District 8 girl, Foxface, Brutus,
How many does the analysis chalk up as intentional kills by Peeta?
Only one, just Brutus.
Right. Quick recap from the source's view. District 8 girl, ambiguous. Maybe mercy, maybe survival tactic, maybe Gamemaker manipulation. Not a clear murder.
Foxface, definitely accidental. A Gamemaker trap, not Peeta's kill.
Brutus, yes. The only intentional kill, a massive moment, ending the games.
And Mitchell, tragic, horrific, but not Peeta's responsibility due to the capital's hijacking.
So what does looking this closely at these specific moments through the lens of this analysis really tell you listening right now?
Well, it really highlights the nuance, doesn't it? Actions taken under unbelievable duress for survival.
Absolutely. It hammers home the psychological horror of what the capital did. How they could twist someone fundamentally good like Peeta into a weapon against his will.
Makes you question culpability. What does responsibility even mean when someone's life, their very mind, is being manipulated like that?
Exactly. This analysis ultimately keeps pointing back to the real villains here, the capital, the game makers.
Yeah, this analysis leaves you thinking, if the capital's actions setting traps like Nightlock, creating mutts, and directly torturing and hijacking people like Peeta are responsible for so many deaths.
Including deaths that, on the surface, look like they were caused by other tributes.
Right. How does that change how we understand who the real killers are in the arena?
And Emmy, even more profoundly, what does it say about free will, about agency, about responsibility, when people are caught in a system designed to control and destroy them like that?
Definitely something to chew on.